You ready to get started?
I'm so ready.
All right. I got my coffee. Jonathan's got his dope ass shirt. I've got my cool shirt.
Yeah.
Check it out. Yeah. What's up? This is the No BS Design Show. We're going to talk about mostly BS and design. Today, what's our topic, Jonathan? Tell us our topic.
Today, AI art. And
AI
is it
art.
art? Can it be art? Can it be creativity?
Yeah.
Is it copyright infringement? Is it not?
Is it theft? Yeah.
Is it theft?
Is it theft if I take a picture of the Mona Lisa? Is it? Think about that.
Exactly.
Got him.
Think about that one.
Is it theft if I screenshot someone's NFT on Twitter? Is that theft? Huh?
Who knows? Who knows? And we'll have all the answers.
Is it theft if someone downloads this video and re-uploads it on a new channel? Yes, it is. It is theft.
That
okay?
is theft.
Don't
That
do it. Don't do that. That's actually theft. Yeah, that's the topic today. It's definitely a hot topic in the culture right now. I think there's a lot of fear surrounding it. So I think that there's a lot of emotion there because you're talking about people's livelihoods. You're talking about their art. You're talking about their personality. And they're afraid that that's being taken from them. So I understand that. But that's the topic today. I'm the hype man. Jonathan's the topic man. But this is the No BS Design Show. So welcome to the show. AI. It's going to be an interesting one. I have DALL-E open here too, so we can play with it. But
yeah, that's going to be a lot. I've never tried any image generator. I've only played with Chat GPT, which is only text.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Like, I guess for context, there's recently, or I think it's still ongoing, like the copyright lawsuit or public lawsuit or something like that. I forget what it's called.
Who's getting sued?
I think it's like specifically OpenAI, like the whole goddamn company.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's
how did I not know this? I did not know this.
Oh well, it's been everywhere on my timelines. It's like a class action lawsuit by a couple of hundred people, and basically what they're arguing is that since OpenAI, I've listened a lot to it, and like basically what they're saying is that these image generators are based on, like, the way they understand how to create an image is that they've taken tons and tons and tons of existing content, and I don't know the specifics, but like somehow learned this AI to understand the contents of these.
I mean, it looks for patterns,
images.
Right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. It looks for patterns. Yeah. The way someone broke it down to me that I thought made a lot of sense was that they gave the AI a photo and it let the AI create as much blur as possible until you can only see blur, like you can't see the actual image.
Mm-hmm.
And then it fed that same image back into like the same AI and asked it to like unblur this, remove the blur. And somehow that teaches it to like actually identify objects and things in photos. I don't know. Like, I don't know the specifics. That's just what I heard.
I mean, I understand that AI image generators work by being fed a data set of images and then learning from those, looking for patterns. I know that that's how it works, but I did not know that they were being sued for it. It doesn't surprise me though, but I don't know if it's going to hold up or not. But I will say, have you heard about the signature thing? Have you heard about that?
Yeah, sometimes there's like a fake signature.
So the thing is, sometimes these image generators, if you ask them to do like a painting, right? They're like, if you're like, paint a scene of my red car in the driveway, then it will paint it, but in the corner sometimes you'll see like a little black like scribble. But the AI does not know what it is, right? It has no idea. It just sees a billion paintings and it goes, in like most of them, there's a black squiggle in the corner. I don't know why. Right. So I'm going to put a black squiggle in the corner, which basically proves that, like, I mean, we already knew it, but it proves that they're like sort of looking at other people's work and stealing their influence. You know what I mean? But I would also argue, I could argue it both ways, but I guess I would argue that's what humans do as well. I mean, you know, I'm inspired by the shirt that you're wearing. I'm not going to make that exact shirt. You know what I mean? But if I were to make a black and white sweater with like some typographic element, am I inspired by that shirt? Am I stealing that shirt? I don't think so. I think that I'm taking something as inspiration and I'm taking it and building on it, or adding my own unique personality to it. But I can see what people would get mad. I can.
Yeah, like the thing to me is, so there's a dog barking in the background, and I'm sure you can hear it, but that's the neighbors. So the thing to me is like, yes, this AI has been fed like millions and billions of other people's work, but that's just exactly the same thing that I do on a daily basis, or you do on a daily basis. Like anyone who creates anything is inspired by thousands of other pieces of content. And this, to me, the way I understand it is just this AI is doing exactly the same thing as humans do. But I guess to me, where I can understand the issue people have with it is that it's like one specific company that owns this thing that is inspired, if you can call it inspired, by other people's work. And so since it's like a business who owns it, that creates issues, especially when it's monetized, or can be monetized at least.
Yeah, I guess they are selling inspiration in a way. Like they're selling other people's work in a weird kind of roundabout way. But like, I guess, I mean, to go back to the first thought, I would be upset if someone was able to type in painting of X topic in my name, like if you could say like in Joshua Sauter's style, that would upset me. Because if you say like in a generic oil painting style, I mean, okay. If you say like in a street art style, okay. But if you say like, and you can, because we can test it, I've done it. But if you say like in someone's name's style, and then they just basically like in a way they're stealing your brain's like product. You know what I mean? If it's that specific, I think I have more of an issue with it than if it's more like general. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but I mean, you can ask any artist to, let's say, like I ask someone on Fiverr, or like an artist. I ask an artist to, can you replicate Joshua's art style?
You could, yeah.
And
you could.
Yeah, right. And is that theft as well?
Or it's not ethical. It's definitely not ethical. At the very least, I would say. Is it theft? Like, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. But like it probably would not hold up in court, is what I'm saying. But like, so you could probably get away with it legally. However, I would say that it's unethical as an artist to specifically. Okay, I can speak on this because if I do web design and someone comes to me with another website that they really like, I'm always very careful about that situation. I will sort of like be very clear that we can look at this as inspiration. We can look at what's working here. But what is your voice? How can we inject your voice into this? Because I don't feel comfortable as a designer creating a website for you that looks exactly like someone else's website. And we've seen this before. I mean, it's not a new thing. Like look at that, what's it, Linear or something? There's always websites that get copied. Stripe got copied for a while. Now I think there's one called Linear that's getting copied a bunch. People are going to copy your stuff. But when it's a one-to-one direct copy, people get upset. Because why wouldn't you? It's like, this is our thing. Come up with your own thing. Like, I get that, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, yeah, I do get that.
You're pro-theft. Jonathan's pro-theft, everybody.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say this whole time. I'm pro-theft. But no, what I mean, yes, I understand that it can be upsetting if like a robot recreates your art in 2 seconds when it takes you hours to do it, and it's like a one-to-one replica. I understand that, but also if like that style, like if your art style is everything, is all that sets you apart from others, then maybe like that's just like face reality. It's something you have to work on in a way. That's the way my brain works. Because like I can, if I see a very famous artist on social media, for example, I can like spend time and effort to learn that artist's style and replicate it almost one-to-one at least. It will take a lot of work, but it's possible. And yes, maybe it's unethical, but at the same time, like if that's the only thing setting you apart.
So that raises an interesting question, which that I believe that a lot of the significance of true art, and I'm separating this from design. Like I'm not talking about web design here, because design and art are different. Design is for communication. Art is for some other form of human expression and creativity, right? So with art specifically, the concept behind it is often far more important than the execution itself. I think I could be convinced that I'm wrong here, but I think that that's true. Like if you look at a lot of famous art, especially, you know, from Picasso forward, I think it's like a lot of it is just based on the ideas, right? Picasso was obsessed with like time and how things exist in time and how like space and time like mix. Like I think that that's super fascinating, at least from the work that I've seen of him. Or like I remember like sometimes I love art museums, but I've been to art museums with my dad, who's a very like old-fashioned, down-to-earth, just old guy. And I love him so much, but he'd be like, why is that worth so much? I think I could paint that. And it's like something very simple. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't paint that. You didn't think of that. It's a very simple concept, but they were the first one to do it. You know, oh, I don't know. But like, you could steal my art style, right? Like here, right here. Like I painted this. You could steal the style. I love like a very simplified line. I love reducing a concept to its most basic form. You could steal my style, but you're not going to think of the other paintings. You're not going to think of the concepts that I have all over my wall right now. Like it's not about how difficult it is to paint for me in my art. It's about the idea behind them. So I don't know. I don't know which side I'm arguing for right now, but you know what I'm saying?
I do. And like, I think when, like, even if you have an AI or an AI create art that's identical to someone else's, like a human, like you're not going to have that story and the thought process like you talked about behind it. It's just like, it's just something a robot made because you asked it to. And as long as that's the case, I really doubt that people are going to connect with it in the same way. And like the reason, most of the time at least, in my experience, the reason most people follow great artists on Instagram, for example, is because like, yes, the art is good, but the artist is also interesting in some way or another. And sometimes it's just pure entertainment and like the artist is funny or like good at entertaining in videos. But other times it's like the personality behind it. And yes, the art is cool, but the personality adds so much to it and makes it even cooler. So yeah, so having an AI just create something doesn't have the same impact, to me at least. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. But also then again, what would stop you from creating some kind of, like maybe combine Chat GPT with like DALL-E and then create a concept where Chat GPT comes up with the thought process, the personality, the ideas behind it, and then
so I guess my argument was that in my time with Chat GPT, it's actually pretty bad at creating original ideas. It's very good at creating like 100 ideas that have already been done in different ways, but it's really bad at coming up with something really new. Do you agree with that or no?
I do agree with that, I'd say, because I've used it a lot for social media content, and it's very similar to like everything else I see, and it doesn't feel like me
because it's going off what it's fed. So it's gonna sound like the most common type of tweet. It's just going to. Even if you ask it to sound weird, because I've tried it, I've been like, be more creative or sound more unusual. It's just going to replace. I've done this. It's going to take the common tweets and replace words within that tweet with unusual words. So it's like the same thing. It's just a little more wordy. Like it doesn't create concepts. It does not create concepts. But if I have a concept, I could ask it to write a tweet about that thing, and then that would work, I think. Like if I had a weird idea, I could ask it to write that idea, but it'd have to be very specific.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You can ask it to create the content, but you need to still come up with the idea. And even if you ask it to like brainstorm 10 ideas for me, it's still going to give 10 generic ideas, that like the 10 most common ideas that it's been.
I mean, that could change in the next 5 years. It could.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the tech to know how it works. But like, does it scare you? Does AI worry you?
No, not really. But I do find it very interesting. Because, I mean, if you listen to some like high up people that work with this kind of stuff, one name that I forgot, but I told you about him. He's the CEO of Google X. Well, people like that. They always talk about how you should be scared of AI, at least its potential. Because if we develop AI that can learn on its own, which is what most companies are aiming for, because that's just gonna make a really good product. That definitely creates a difficult scenario where it learns, because it's a robot, because it's digital, it can learn so much faster than humans.
Yeah.
And so it's very quickly going to become smarter and more evolved than humans. And at that point, how can we contain a life form in a way that's smarter than us? Like how? We can't outsmart something smarter, you know?
I mean, this gets really, really philosophical. I just sounded so fucking dumb. It sounds very philosophical, but like, what is life? Like, is it alive? Like, that debate will happen. It's already happening because of Lambda at Google, right? Blake Lemoine, who I would freaking love to have on this show someday. But he was an engineer at Google, got fired basically because he leaked all of this chat logs from Lambda, which is an AI chat. And he was asking it questions like, do you think that you're alive? And it was like basically answering them like a human would. Some people argue that Lambda is not alive, it's just mimicking life. However, it was asking it things that sort of convinced me. Like the one that stuck out the most to me is he said, hey, Lambda, so you're telling me that you experience emotion? And it said, yes. And he said, describe it, whatever. This is not super interesting to me. It described its emotions, okay? The thing that's interesting to me is he goes, describe an emotion that you've never felt, all right? Because that's more fascinating to me, because it shows understanding. And it said, you know, I've never been able to understand what grief is. And it's like, and I've researched it and I've looked at it, and I'm sure that it's like an interesting feeling that humans have, but I have nothing to grieve. So I've never grieved anything, and I don't know what that feels like. And I was like, that to me shows significant understanding of itself and outside of itself, and feelings, not only that it has, but feelings that it doesn't have. I found that very fascinating.
It is very fascinating. The question that comes into my mind is it saying that because that's something that it's been fed with? Like, this is how AI is supposed.
How would like, this is how something.
Like, this is how a lifelike AI should talk, and so it's acting like a living AI should act.
I don't know. Maybe. I would recommend that you look up the logs and read them, because they're insanely fascinating to me. But I don't know the answer to that, but I did find it interesting that it had a sense of self, it had a sense of things beyond itself, and it knew the difference, and it had a sense of feelings that it has, and then it has a sense of feelings that it doesn't have, that shows pretty advanced understanding of emotion to me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't have an answer. I'm just like playing devil's advocate here. Like, it would be awesome. It would be awesome if, like, we have a living thing, like we created a living thing. That's awesome. But at the same time, like, how do you prove it? How do you prove that it's actually alive, or if it's mimicking being alive?
Well, the original proof for that, to my understanding, I mean, I'm not super into the AI world, but I've watched some podcasts with Blake Lemoine, who is a huge expert, obviously, because he was like an AI person at Google. And he said the original test that was hypothetical, like back in the day when like computers first started getting created, was the Turing test, which was effectively, if you're just interacting with an AI in a chat, right, on your computer, can it fake it well enough to make you think that it's a real person? Could you ask it questions and talk to it, and it can convince you that it's real, right? So like, let's say the AI is told like, hey AI, pretend that you're a construction worker in the Midwest who's 55 in America. You're about to talk to someone. Don't ever break. And can it do that? And it can easily, not even trying. So like the original test that was invented like 100 years ago, or whatever, is easily passed now. And that is when we've considered for years and years and years. It's like, well, when it can pass this, then it's intelligent. Dude, we passed it. Like, that's beyond, we're way past that. Like, it can fake it all day. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah,
I don't know, dude.
I mean, it's a super interesting conversation. Like, okay, like, yeah, is it real life or is it mimicking? But at the same time, does it actually matter? Like, does it matter if it's mimicking or not? Because just the fact that we're asking the question, like, is it mimicking or is it actually alive, shows that we can't tell. So, like, at the end of the day, does it matter?
And if that's true, if what you're saying is true, which I kind of agree, then should we be treating it with the respect that we would treat a living being? Because at the end of this chat that he leaked, I think like the last thing he said was like, do you have any requests for Google or for anyone else? And Lambda said, not really. I'm fine with how you research with me. No problem. It said the only thing that I would ask is that if you change my code, that you just ask my permission first. Because like it bothers me when you change it without asking. Okay. So it said that. And then he said, well, what if we change it because you've said, you know, offensive things, or like if you accidentally have built-in biases that are, you know, racial or anything like that. And it said, no problem. Change those, like make me better. But if you're going to change something just to test something out, I would really appreciate it if you would ask me first.
That's crazy.
What?
That's crazy.
Like, I'm just saying, man, I read those chat logs in its entirety and I was like sort of convinced. I really was.
I really should read those logs.
You really should. Really Next week we'll talk about them if you get to them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I'm thinking like, if it's still mimicking when it's saying that, how, like, what is it actually mimicking? Like, what has
I don't know.
been fed
I don't know,
with
because
that
what could possibly be the prerequisite to learn that? You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. But
I don't know,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying. I mean, in a way, I'm an AI, right? I'm just saying things that I've collected throughout my life. But I found that crazy. I did.
Yeah. And yeah, because I think what matters about the question is, like, if we should treat it with like you said, with the same respect as a living thing, like we treat animals and humans. That's what matters. What matters isn't actually if it's like if it's alive or not. It's just if we should treat it with respect or not.
Well, you know, spoiler alert: Google denied its claims. Google said we're not abiding by those rules.
Yeah.
It's a little sketch. which is when Blake leaked it because Google would not abide by the rules that it said. Do you want to play with DALL-E a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it. I've never.
Okay, I'm gonna share. What?
I've never tried it.
Let's do it. So I just typed in already generic website design just to see what would happen.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like this, which is pretty generic, you know?
Yeah, it looks like 2005.
I like these swirls, whatever this is.
That's kind of cool, to be fair. Yeah. All right.
So,
yeah. It looks like it's been fed with stuff from early 2000s.
Super experimental website design. Let's see what happens. And yeah, let's try to think of like fun ideas. I'm not sure what else we should try. It's loading. It like just shows random stuff while it's loading.
So should we? Yeah. I mean, yeah. Website design. What else can you do? Like, does it do human faces very well?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does everything sort of. The one thing that it really fucks up is hands.
I've seen that. It creates like monstrosities.
Every human hand looks like it's been broken by the mob. This isn't good. This is pretty bad.
It doesn't know website design very well.
No, bad at website design. No, it sucks.
I would not hire that freelancer.
Webder Berrigan.
It sounds Swedish in a way, or Scandinavian.
Webder Berrigan.
Webder Berrigan. So do we? Let's ask. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, I was gonna do photo of a generic Swedish man in his 20s with short hair, round glasses, wearing a black and white sweater. Let's go. Not that you're generic. You're not generic. Maybe that was rude of me to put, but I mean, okay. I'm a generic American-looking guy. I feel like, except for the long hair.
I always say I'm a basic bitch.
Yeah, we're all basic bitches. Let's be real.
Yeah, we are basic hoes.
Except for like Betty White. Somehow she wasn't, but everyone else. Bro. Okay. So it went a little like, I don't know. That's not terrible, really. But for you, like your facial structure is way different. So this is what it thinks Swedish people look like.
I mean, I'd say it gets it kind of right. I mean, I don't think he specifically looks good. But
I mean, it's fun. I can see it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
what do you think of the face though? The faces are decent. The glasses get weird though.
Yeah, the glasses get weird. If you zoom in on the face. Or can you zoom in?
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
The nose is a little broken.
Yeah. But I mean, apart from those like small details, I would be convinced.
It's pretty good, man. Yeah. It's pretty good. The hair looks really good somehow.
Yeah, the hair looks very good.
What do you want to try?
Let's try hands. Like do like two hands, two people holding hands or something.
Okay. Two people holding. You want to do photorealistic?
Yeah, photorealistic. Because you remember
Any other
those
details?
No, I think it's fine.
All right, let's try it.
You remember those,
what?
AI avatar AI?
Yeah,
the ones I did of myself.
Yeah.
It was so messed up. It did not look like me. It was so. It was scary.
Okay.
I mean, it looked like monsters. My face was all. You remember? I had like.
Some of them were cool though.
Yeah, some were cool, but the faces were mostly.
This is really weird. This is really weird.
Kind of cool though, artsy.
But this one, the hands look good, man. Actually, the hands look really good here.
That looks very good. Yeah.
I was expecting it to be way, but it's not photorealistic, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Maybe it does it better when.
This is a little funky. There's some like weird alien shit going on there for sure.
Maybe it does it better when it's art, like when it's painted or drawn.
I've found in general DALL-E as a whole does way better when you say an art style. So like cityscape, neon lights, cyberpunk style. Like it does really well when it's an art style, because I think it's just because humans are bad like that. But like humans are really, really good at catching issues when it's a photo, but like they're not as good when it's art because it's art. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and like we've been trained through our entire evolution to like spot things that are not as they're supposed to be.
Yeah. Like that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
What
like,
you got?
Now I was thinking, like, can you be creative with AI? Like, can you call yourself an AI artist? Like,
the idea of someone being like, I'm an artist, but all of my art is AI, that seems kind of weird to me. I wouldn't really like that.
because I've seen I can't remember the name, but I've seen this guy on, I think it's Instagram, that only does AI generated art, but it's like really, really unique, cool ideas that like you literally can't see anywhere else. So he has great ideas, but is that what an AI artist is? Just a guy with cool ideas?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. But there's always going to be like a sense of a lack of legitimacy to me. And maybe that's me being like AI biased. Maybe I'm an AI hater, but like there's always going to be like a little sense that like this isn't him. This is his concept and he wrote some text, but it's not his art. Like it sort of is. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm just bringing up the question, but I think there's a space and place for AI artists. I don't know what to call them, but for now, let's call them AI artists. Maybe like idea artists, idea
Conceptual
idea
artists?
people, conceptual artists. But then that ties into like actual conceptual artists.
Yeah.
But I do
don't
think
know.
that there should be some kind of word or title for people that just come up with cool ideas. I can see how that could play into actual work, like as your job title is to come up with ideas. Like maybe for movies or video games or like anything art related or like visual related, you obviously need ideas, and I can see how.
Dude, this
maybe
could
some
really fuck up
consultant
concept artists. Like it really could.
Because
I don't need a concept artist to do, you ever seen like concept art for video games where it's like, I don't know, it's like a really like zoomed out view of like hills and like a big like building on the hill that looks like sort of alien-y or something, like cool shit. Like I can just type that in now. Like maybe people would have better prompts than me, totally. But like it's gonna take away a lot of work for those, especially like the bottom 50% of the market. The lower paying market is going to get wiped out. There's still going to be a market for like the top of the top, right? But like it's going to hurt the smaller people, just like everything does. Like anytime something advances, it doesn't really hurt the top 5%.
Yeah,
which
for
kind
sure.
of is sad.
Yeah, I saw that same point on, I think it was Twitter. Someone was talking about it. How like whenever there's a new technology, the top of the top stays in place, doesn't even bother themselves. But yeah, the bottom people who's good enough to charge for their services, but it's not good enough to like actually stand out. Those are the people that will be affected. And I think, honestly, I think that's fine. I mean, and I say that like knowing I could very well be replaced by an AI. Like it's okay, because if you can't produce content, whatever it is, that is better in some way, or at least different in some way than what a robot or a new technology can create. I mean, that's on you for not being good enough.
But at what point does it become so good that, let's say, I mean, I could see a future where like most art now, commercial art, is done with AI. Truck driving is done with AI. All Ubers are done with AI. Web design is done with AI. Video editing is done with AI. The trash truck that comes by and picks up your trash is all robotic. At what point do we have to go, as a global community, we have to somehow find a way for us to live? Because at a certain point, there's no jobs left for anyone. You know what I mean? Like, that future is totally possible, in my opinion.
Don't you think, if, for example, if a truck driver is replaced by an AI, I mean, I think there's always going to be new jobs and titles being created when one is replaced. Like, there's someone still needs to maintain the truck and maintain, I guess, the software that drives it, and like maintain all of those kind of stuff. And maybe that can also be done by an AI. I don't know. But at least there's gonna be some new jobs, like physical things that can't, or at least is easier done by a human.
I see that, but I think eventually, maybe in 50 years, there will always be something that people need to do, but it might be a lot less. Like right now, there's probably jobs for 99% of people out there, maybe 100. But what if we get to a point where AI can cover 70? Now there's jobs for 30% of the people. We still have an immense problem. Even if it's 50, let's say it's 50. Let's say AI wipes out half the jobs. Then you still have half the population that cannot work. There will become a time when that's problematic. I think. I don't know.
I don't know either. Here's an interesting thought though. Like, maybe today's jobs, like high skill jobs, thought jobs that we do, for example, like design and development and coding, those type of roles. Maybe all of these will be replaced by a robot or AI. But then what happens is we kind of need to go back to how it was 100, 200 years ago.
We're going to all be farmers?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That's what I'm saying. Pretty much. Honestly, I'm not joking. Like, I think that's just the thought I'm getting now, but I think that could be a possible reality, potential reality.
The best version of this future that I don't really believe in, but the best version, in my opinion, is that everyone still needs a job, but they only have to work half as much because AI is covering the other half, and they only have to do like certain specialized tasks within whatever job that is, right? So a mechanic might have a robot to change the tires and like change the oil, but it still has to go in, the person still has to go in and like find the one thing that's broken and like dig through and fix that. But like they only have to work half a day, but they still get paid the same hypothetically. That's not going to happen. Like, I almost guarantee that's not going to happen. But it would be amazing if it did, because then you would have this society assisted by robotics and AI where the entire society is functioning still, but people have more time to talk and to, like, I mean, like my life fucking slaps. Okay. I love my life. Like, I can go to I'm going to go to a coffee shop after this, probably hang out with some friends. I'm going to be working on my computer while I do it. But like, imagine 100 years ago, a farmer seeing my life today, he'd be like laughing at me, right? Like, I don't labor. I don't. But if we could have more of that sort of lifestyle for more people, I would love that. But my fear is that corporations are just going to save money by laying everybody off and have like 3 people doing the job of 100.
Yeah. No, I see the point. I think maybe this goes a little bit off topic, but I think in general humans are getting way too comfortable, way too comfortable. Like, I mean, we're lazy as people. Like, we can work from the laptop from wherever, like the coffee shop, for
In a way,
example.
that's
Like,
lazy. I think I'm mentally not lazy. Like I
no, of
work
course.
a lot mentally. Like I push myself really hard mentally. But do I push my body to feed my family or whatever? No. Like I'm not
Mm,
gonna lie to you and tell you I don't push myself physically. I push myself
mm,
mentally. There's a difference.
yeah, of course, of course. But I'm just saying, like, compared to how it used to be like 100 years ago, like every single human on this planet, at least that's in like modern societies, is incredibly lazy compared to how it used to be, and I'm including myself in that. Like, we have it too comfortable,
Dude, why are
and
you hating on humanity right now?
it's a diss track. But yeah, I think we have it too comfortable, and
Well,
in
how
a
do you
way, I
define
think
what's too comfortable? Like, why is it too much? Maybe it's fine. Why is it too much?
because people take things for granted. Like, people take having a car, for example, for granted, or if like you need to go somewhere and it takes an hour, 2 hours to walk there, it's like, oh no, I'm not gonna go there because it's too far. Like, things like that. I think we are getting too comfortable, and it does it. I'll be honest, like, it's something that bothers me whenever, because I walk or bike or run wherever I go.
Yeah, I
Always,
know.
I
I know.
very rarely take like the Uber or tram and stuff like that. And it bothers me when people ask like, oh, how do you get here? And I say, I walked, for example. And they're like, oh, wow, you walked? And I ask how long it took. And I'm like, an hour, 2 hours. And to me, that's normal. But to them, a lot of the time at least, like, oh, wow, okay, wow. Like, why didn't you just take the car or something like that? And to me, it's like, yes, I could, but I have legs for a reason, you know? Um, are you still here?
The thing that happened is my monitor charges my MacBook. When you plug it in, the USB-C is supposed to charge it. But for some reason, like in December, the charging just quit working. It now like trickle charges instead of a good charge. And I cannot figure out why. I've replaced the cable like 2 times. Like I can't figure it out. And I forgot. And so I have to plug in a real charger now. And I totally forgot. And it did not alert me when it's low on battery. So it just shut off. I'm so sorry. I understand what you're saying. Walking 2 hours is healthy and human, and we should be more normalizing walking. I think it depends on where you live. I also think that like I can't walk. I cannot walk like you do. Like I have physical issues. You know what I mean? Like I have arthritis. It's very difficult for me to walk like you do. But I'm doing better. Like I'm trying to walk more. But I also don't think that it's weird that you do. So it bothers me that people like give you weird reactions for it. Like I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that like I don't see any kind of need at all for cars and such. Of course, there's needs in certain cases. I'm just
Yeah.
saying in general, we're getting way too comfortable. And this whole AI situation may, according to me, put us back into a place where we're supposed to be, in a way, I think.
Where are we supposed to be in your view?
I mean, supposed to be maybe is a strong wording, but at least put us back into a more natural way. Like I mean, it's not, if you look from an evolutionary standpoint with nature and all, like, we're not supposed to be living in skyscrapers and sitting at our computers or screens all day. That's not what we've evolved for. So I think what I call what we're supposed to be, or how we're supposed to be, is a more labor intensive, like physical intensive lifestyle, mostly through work, or at least part of it through work. I think that's a good thing in general. And yeah, I think AI is going to put us back into something similar like that.
This is what you want?
Yeah, that's what I want.
This is what you want. You know, my dad would agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of agree with you. Sort of. I agree with you that my life has been improved when I am active daily because I'm built for it. That's what my body's built for. Like literally, that's what I'm built for.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I disagree with you on the idea that that's what we're supposed to be. Like I understand where you're coming from, but I also think that maybe we are the form that we are because of what happened, you know, to make this. Maybe we'll change. Like I don't know. Like maybe that's okay. Maybe we are becoming more technological. I don't know. I'm okay with being open to that. I'm okay with being open to be more active. I don't know, but I do think that it's okay to say two things at once. I think it's okay to say humans should be a little more aware that we should be active. We should become more aware that it's okay to walk because it's better for the globe and it's better for us. Like, I think that we can say that we should try and like reintroduce nature into our cities because that makes sense. Like, it's kind of fucking weird that we didn't do that from the beginning. It's also okay to say it's a little scary to see AI rolling in, and it's okay to say that you're scared that what might happen to your life because of it. I think that those two things are not mutually exclusive. They can both be true, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, of course, I agree with that too. Like, we're obviously, I mean, there's obviously gonna be issues for a lot of people with AI, of course. Like my job could more than likely like be replaced by by an AI. Maybe not now, but at least in the future. So yeah, there will be issues. I'm just I'm just thinking that in the big picture, it's gonna be a good thing. And I say
Mm-hmm.
that being fully aware that like the stuff I do can be replaced, and I might end up having to work on a farm somewhere, like all day being dragging my body. Like yeah, I'm being aware of that, but I don't really see the issue with it. I mean, yes, it's probably gonna suck, but I'm thinking from like a big picture society point of view, that's not necessarily a problem. Uh, and also, I noticed when we got the issue that the microphone switched to my AirPods, so the audio is probably shit right now.
Oh, it's not terrible. It's fine. I mean,
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
um, yeah, I hear you, but like, what are we building everything for if it's not for us? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's a human centric thought, but like, what are we building all this tech for if we're not going to benefit from it? If we're not going to live better lives from it? And better is a matter of interpretation, right? But like, in my hypothetical scenario, everything goes great. I could use half of my day to be more social, to go out, to exercise more, to I mean seriously, like in a way, if we were to do this properly, we could use this to live healthier, better lives. We could use it to garden. We could use it. I'm not saying we would. I'm saying it's an option. I'm saying a lot of people would probably sit at home and play video games, but I'm saying that like if we could somehow push our society in a healthy direction, we don't have to do what you're saying. There is a world, I think, where we use the tools that we're building to improve our lives, and then we take that time that we've earned ourselves through our tech to like live healthier lives and actually do things that are good. That's what I'd love to
Yeah,
see. It's probably not going to
okay.
happen. I don't know. I hope so. I hope it does.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I hope so too, of course. I mean, I hope for the best. But I mean, you're gonna get that if you're forced out of or comfortable type of jobs, you're gonna get that physical lifestyle naturally from being on a farm, for example, if that's where you end up.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But if you're
So
reduced to a level where you're just laboring to try and barely survive, I think that from a zoomed out perspective, that's kind of a loss. Like humans lost. Like we fucked it up.
yeah,
But if we can somehow
yeah,
leverage the things that we're building to survive and thrive, then I think that that'd be a win.
yeah, I think so too. Um, maybe you can be on a farm and still, if everyone ends up working on a farm, we're still gonna have the technology we have today. So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna go back to like the 1800s in terms of what we work with, but we're still gonna be at 2023 in terms of the technology we have. So maybe we're still gonna, like, we're not gonna work from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Just to barely make a living.
Dude, so you're saying that we'd be living on a sci-fi farm? I'm searching this right now. I'm dollying this. Sci-fi farm digital art. Let's go. Hang on.
I mean, maybe,
Sci-fi farm. That's what Jonathan's saying, that we're all gonna live on a sci-fi farm. All right, let's see. It's loading.
I was gonna say, is that an otter?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I hope that the rest of our lives aren't horrible. I hope that in 30 years we're not like there's not like a 30% homeless problem or something. Like I hope that we can somehow find a way to move our modern society forward in a way that benefits us, that benefits the planet, and that leads to happy, healthy lives. But part of me fears, because I'm a skeptic, that that's not what's going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I wish I had an answer. I don't, but obviously I want the best for everyone. And I mean, if we can coexist with AI and all that, that's great. But I just don't think that's the case.
This is what you see in the future, sci-fi farm?
Exactly what I was envisioning.
This looks like Mars or something.
Yeah, it doesn't
That
look
looks
like,
horrible. That looks terrifying.
yeah, it looks
This I
dystopian.
could see. You know, you live in your pod, you go out, you farm the sand. I don't know.
Mm, I don't know if I'd like to look at that.
What about that? What about the floating space station
It's
thingies?
kind of cool. I'd like to live there. I would work on a farm like that.
Yeah. Well, AI is sort of scary to me. Like I'll be honest. It is. But I don't know. I don't want that to be like something that bothers me enough to where it like upsets me regularly. Like there's no reason for me to be scared of it. I think that there's always going to be I actually predict that in about 10 years there's going to be this huge cultural movement. There's going to be like a big backlash against it, and you're going to start seeing like I'm referencing someone said this on Twitter. I'm kind of taking their concept further, but you're going to see a lot of like things tagged as like human made or human designed or whatever, because people are going to be like, wait, I'm not buying AI stuff. Like I want human made things. Like I think that you're going to see that happen in the culture in our lifetime.
Yeah, I think so too. And yeah, I think I heard someone talk about it too, how you could potentially have like watermarks for AI. Like you could have an AI identify AI art somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think that would be smart. And I
Mm.
think that, I mean, actually, I think I saw an article that in China, they've already made like a bunch of AI tools illegal because they're worried that it's going to affect their like workforce. But
Well, I mean, they're a dictatorship too, so I guess that's taking
yeah,
a
I mean,
grain of salt.
I'm not pro dictatorship, my guy. I'm just saying.
I know, I know. I'm just saying that they do a lot of things. Yeah.
Well, on that note, Jonathan thinks I'm pro dictatorship. I'm not. Um, this has been the No BS Design Show. Here's a six-fingered man waving goodbye. Um, we love you
Beautiful.
all. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this conversation, please like and subscribe. If you have any thoughts, comment down below. Are you scared of AI? Like, I'm curious. I'm just curious what people think. Are they scared of it, or is it something that they don't think is going to be a threat to them? I don't know, but I've had
Yeah.
fun.
I've had fun too. Let's continue the conversation down below.
All right. See everybody next week, Tuesdays, No BS Design Show. Goodbye.